Hi, I'm Teresa Isaacson, the founder of the IBIS Company. I am a member of the Intuit Trainer Writer Network, and I'm advanced certified in QuickBooks Online and Desktop. Today I'm going to show you about reconciling in QuickBooks Online. Our learning objectives are to understand the importance of reconciling, to know how to use QuickBooks Online features in order to reconcile, to notice and identify problems while reconciling and fix those problems, and then we're going to create a reconciliation report. So on this slide, I'm showing you that from the gear icon, you come down to the Tools menu and you choose Reconcile, and it's going to open this Reconcile landing page. You're going to check the account that you want to reconcile. I'm on checking apparently. And you're going to enter the ending balance and the date of the statement that you are reconciling to. So you want your bank statement right in front of you. Enter that ending balance and the closing date of the period you're reconciling. Then you're going to click Start Reconciling, and this is the reconciliation page that opens. It has what you've entered here as the statement ending balance, and it's automatically checked some things for us, and our goal here is to get this difference to 0. Okay, now it never starts there, so be prepared to have to do some things. So we have the ability to filter transactions. We can choose just payments or just deposits, or we can choose everything. We have from this little gear icon the ability to edit which columns are showing. I've got all the columns showing, and you have the ability to condense the width, the line spacing to fit more onto the screen. I've got it in the medium one. If we do the ultra compact, it makes it tighter and you can see more information. Here we have an arrow up to make this ribbon hide or expand. I believe that we have just the minimum information going on here. This clear date column is helpful because that will match the bank statement. So sometimes it's helpful to click on this column header and list all of the checks in the clear date rather than the system date. If you printed a check a couple days later than you entered it in QuickBooks, you can see how the clear date is going to match closer to what happened at the bank. So you might be having trouble. You go through, you enter things, you check them off, they're on the bank statement, but it still doesn't look right. So one of the problems might be that there's transactions missing and they're not visible on the reconciliation screen. So you need to go back to the bank feeds or add them manually so that you have all of the transactions entered. Transactions are entered in the register with the date after the statement end date. So if for some reason you have the wrong date in your QuickBooks, it's not going to show up because you entered an ending date. So you can go to the register and edit that transaction so the date matches the statement date, or you can use the ability, there's new tools in QuickBooks Online to find transactions, and it will find something that's after that end date. The amount was entered incorrectly into QuickBooks and it doesn't match the bank feeds. So you're going to use QuickBooks Online to write and print checks so that they're going to match, okay? But sometimes we don't do that. There's lots of trouble with handwritten checks, so be careful that you get all the data entered correctly. If it's wrong, fix it. Go back in and edit that transaction and make the amount the correct amount. There might be duplicate transactions, so you're going to have to delete duplicates. And the other thing that happens, that's my personal favorite mistake to make, is I transpose numbers. So my ending balance might have a typo in it, and I'll need to fix that. So let's look at bank feeds for a second. We need to make sure we get all of the transactions in for the period being reconciled, but don't be hasty here. This is where we look at everything very carefully. You see here we have Chin's Gas, and we do not have a vendor name here. And if you don't want to include every single restaurant you go to or every single gas station you go to, you can put in a generic name like restaurant or gas station and use that for the vendor name. But be sure that you get all these fields filled out. We want to know where'd you buy the stuff from, and what's that vendor name, and how are we going to expense that? So this is going to be automobile fuel, right? So here we have Tim Philip Masonry. That sounds like a subcontractor. It's going to a name in the vendor list, but it's still uncategorized. So we would want to make this subcontractor expense, which is located in the cost of goods sold section. Hicks Hardware might be supplies and expense. It might be also a cost of goods sold or an overhead expense. So you have to decide if it's supplies that goes down below in expenses, or if it's materials and supplies that are up in the cost of goods sold and go directly into your product. Tanya's Nursery matches. We have an expense that we probably did on a debit card or a credit card, and it's come in from the bank and matching. I guess since this is the checking account, it's going to be the debit card. So we would just have to click this match button. And down here, the last one is Books by Bessie. And she sounds like the bookkeeper or an outside accountant, so we would want to use that professional fees category for accountants. So enter everything here, no blanks on this screen, and then you can add it. So we are back now to this reconciliation page where we started. But wait, it says, hold on, your account isn't ready to reconcile yet. Your beginning balance is off by $300, and there's a blue hyperlink that says, we can help you fix it. Okay, heed the warnings on this page, and if there's a blue link, use it so you can find what's wrong, what changed, and make the corrections you need to make. This balance here is going to be shorter, the $300 that was missing. Okay, so I'm going to click that link. Here we go. Why is it off? Well, there's several reasons why it could be off. Probably you changed something. It's all about changes. So you either deleted something completely or avoided it and taken it out of the register, and so the amount that was previously reconciled is now off by the amount of that check that, or whatever that transaction was that you deleted. So you now to put it back in. Also, you could have changed something in that actual transaction. Maybe you had another transaction that was very similar. You accidentally opened the wrong one and you edited the amount in the wrong one and saved it. And so now the balance is off. Another thing that could happen is you would be in the register. And some people still like to enter transactions in the register. Though don't do it if you don't have to. Use those bank feeds. But if there is a column in there that has R for reconciled and C for cleared, or it's blank, and if it was already in the R and you accidentally clicked on that spot in the register with your mouse, it would change back to C. C means it came in on the bank feeds. It's cleared as far as the bank is concerned. But R is the reconciled, and that's the thing we want to do. So you have the option here to click this link to find out what happened, and it will show you what happened. It opens this reconciliation discrepancy report, and it shows you how much you're off up here on the top right. You can click in there, okay, and it's going to show you this, and then you can click on this transaction anywhere, and it's going to open it up deeper, and you can see exactly what that transaction was. You have a view here, so you can from the details provided within QuickBooks, you can make an adjustment to make it match what it previously was and save it. If you deleted it, you might have to completely re-enter the transaction and save it. And as you do this, if you have more than one transaction, we're lucky we only have one, but if you have a list of them here, this value, the total discrepancy difference, will decrease each time you make a correction, and until you get to 0, you keep working at it. And once you do, you're going to do save and return back to the reconciliation page. This is good. So here we have the screen. If you, for some reason, made a mistake in entering your statement ending balance over here, maybe a typographical error, transposition or something, you can click this Edit Info button and go back there and fix it. Here you can filter things by vendor or date, or there's 8 different fields you can filter things by. If something is after the ending date of your that you entered up here, you entered your info and you provided an ending date, which it says here, then you can check here and it will undo that end date and it will show you all the transactions that are after it, and maybe you can find something that was missing. Often this cleared date column will help you. When things match the bank statement, you check them off. If QuickBooks brought it in through the bank feeds, the blue check mark, the blue circle with the white check mark is already there, but you might need to do some on your own. Okay, so you can click them here until you keep at it until this amount is 0. You can look at these and say, oh yeah, I only had one deposit. That's not, if it's off, you can go, okay, that looks right. This matches my bank statement. A lot of bank statements do give you totals for money coming in and money going out. So maybe the number isn't here. These give you hints as to where the problem might be, and you can use these buttons to focus on, it's usually a payment, and you can click on the payments, and then you'll only see the payments, and it gives you the ability to see more information on your screen at one time, as does this little button, which will shrink the banner at the top and give you more working space. Once you click the Finish Now, which was over here, and you get this, hey, success, you've reconciled your account. And you'd click Done, but if you want to, you can view the report. This is what the reconciliation looks like, tripping over my tongue here. And it shows you your statement beginning balance, the amount of checks and payments that cleared, the amount of the deposits that cleared, and your statement ending balance. This should match your statement. This is what's still in your register. So you have other checks that haven't cleared yet. You may have even entered some things that you need to put in the mail and you haven't even mailed them out yet. All sorts of things can still be sitting in here. And the things that I pay attention to, and I'm wanting to scroll down this report, but I can't, is uncleared checks and uncleared deposits that are way before the statement that I'm reconciling. If it's from 3 months ago and I have a check that never cleared, I need to investigate it and figure out if I entered a second one, is it a duplicate? Do I need to delete it? Did somebody lose a check? I need to figure it out. And if it is a duplicate and I don't need to keep it anymore, I can delete it out of my QuickBooks file. Okay, when you click on the report, there's this history. This is, I wonder if I did that right. I think I clicked funny. Anyway, this history by account report gives you the opportunity to go back in and view a report from a previous period. You, working in your QBO account, cannot undo a previous reconciliation, but someone like me, who is a QuickBooks Pro advisor, and you have invited me as an accountant to view your file, I can undo reconciliations for you very quickly, and you can keep working on your own, or you can get someone like me to help you finish the task. Try to keep up with your bank reconciliations because your reports are only as good as the data you have in your QuickBooks file, and we want current, complete data in your QuickBooks file so that you can create reports that are meaningful, so that you can make decisions that will be informed, so you can manage your business logically. So let's review the account reconciliation process. Categorize and enter all the transactions for the period being reconciled. Bring in all the transactions. Well, if you haven't already, connect your accounts to online banking. Reconcile within QBO. You start by going to the gear icon, and then you come to the tools and come down to reconcile. Enter the ending balance and the statement date from the statement you're reconciling to. Tick off the transactions that match your statement, those little blue circles with the white checks. When the difference equals 0, click Finish Now. And then you can view or print your reconciliation report. I like to save it as a PDF. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.